Good day, everyone. I am Srina Claustro, and I am here to report Module 7, Part 7 over 11, titled The Use of Qualitative Methods in Monitoring and Evaluation for Social Behavior Change Communication Programs. So, based on the objectives of Module 7, specifically on the last part, no, I hope that at the end of this module, we would be able to discuss the difference between qualitative and quantitative research. But my report will focus on the qualitative research. So, I hope that we would be able to explain the various qualitative data collection methods and its application in M&E of SBCC program. So first question is, what is qualitative research? So qualitative research is a scientific research method that provides descriptions and explanations of the research question. So basically it explores answers to what, why, and how of decisions and actions taken. Second, this type of research focuses on, of course, exploring human behavior and social factors that shape it. Qualitative research can stand alone as a way of understanding things before more structured research is done, or it can be used alongside quantitative research. And of course, qualitative research is useful during the program design or when analyzing quantitative data. And it helps gather perspectives from people involved in activities that are being studied. So what are the difference between quantitative and qualitative research? First, quantitative research is the measurement of a phenomena in terms of quantity or amount, while the qualitative focus on understanding the process leading to the outcome, or uh, explaining why participants' perception experiences leading to the way they make decisions and act. So as you can see, there's a table that contains the differentiation of qualitative and quantitative. So usually it differs on this primary characteristic. First is on analytical objective. So in quantitative research, the approach is basically objective. It aims to gather data that is independent of the researcher's perspectives. While in qualitative, it involves more subjective approach as it seeks to understand a participant's perspectives and experiences. Second is in terms of question format. So quantitative research involves are typically rather close-ended or semi-structured, with of course respondents selecting answers from predefined options. While in qualitative, it is more uh, open-ended questions and allowing participants to provide more descriptive responses or answers in their own words. In terms of data format, data in quantitative research is presented in numerical form, while in qualitative, it is presented in words. Last is in terms of tool design. So in quantitative research, the design of the data collection tool remains stable throughout the study. So the researcher follows a predetermined set of questions, and participants' responses do not influence the order or the content of a subsequent question. While in qualitative, it allows more flexibility in the design of data collection, and of course the researcher adapts questions based on participants responses, no, allowing for a deeper exploration of their topics and experiences. So why do we need qualitative research methods? So there are three reasons. No? So first is to understand participants' perspective. So qualitative methods provide insight into why participants do what they do. So it provides information about the human side of an issue. Uh, and second, it explains quantitative results. So the qualitative research complement quantitative methods by exploring the reasons and patterns underlying the responses of quantitative methods of inquiry. Last is to develop for answers and codes for quantitative study. So when the researcher is exploring a new area and does not know which respondents or responses one could expect from the respondents, a quick formative study before undertaking a large sample survey helps in making the questionnaire better and more appropriate with respect to the context and answers that could come from the field. So, as you can see, there's an example of uh, why do we need qualitative research method. So, in this on the slide, you can see the example of an SBCC program in a certain rural area in India, particularly in the rural area of Bihar. So they have this health program aimed to increase the institutional delivery rates, and they use an SBCC program through media campaigns and interpersonal communication. So when they conducted their evaluation, their quantitative survey showed that the village A, or the target audience in village A, saw a rise from 18 to 40. So it's higher. While in village B, it increased only to 23%. So to understand why the change was not achieved in village B, they conducted a quantitative research. So as you can see on the result, qualitative research provide a valuable context to understand why the discrepancies in the program outcomes between the two villages. Okay, so what are the different qualitative methods? So there are four. First is observation, in-depth interviews, key informant interviews, and focus group discussions. So let's first discuss the first method, which or approach, which is the observation. So this approach is useful for collecting data on naturally occurring behaviors in their usual context. And the observation method allows researchers to check expressions of feelings, find out who interacts with whom and how they communicate with each other, and how much time is spent on various activities. So there's an example on the slide uh, of an SBCC program that use observation method. So in also another area in India, they have this SBCC program which aims uh, to campaign for the use of modern spacing family planning. And to address this, the Department of Health and Family Welfare initiated a counseling program for young postpartum women attending the immunization series sessions. And through observations, it showed that effective communication on spacing between pregnancy is really crucial. Although there are communication materials, they lack details on contraceptive side effects. So through their observations, they have resulted to list recommendations to improve counseling approaches. Second is in-depth interviews. So in-depth interviews are highly effective for gathering data on individuals or personal histories, perspectives, and experiences. So they are conducted face to face by well-trained interviewers, and and questions are of course posed neutrally, and the researchers listen attentively, no, asking follow-up question. So there are key characteristics of in-depth interviews. First, it use open-ended questions. They ask questions that make people explain instead of just saying yes or no. Second, it is structured. It has a semi-structured approach. While it's essential to have key informant or key questions prepared, adapt questions based on previous responses should be whenever possible. And of course, it aims to understand and interpret. So it actively listen to the participants' answers and seek clarification when needed. Second is it record responses. So they usually, when we do in-depth interviews, we audio record our, well, of course, with the permission of the informant, our interview. Last is as third one is the key informant interviews. So these interviews are freely structured conversations with people who have good knowledge and can give detailed information about the topic. And this is typically a one-to-one talk between the informant and the researcher. And it is most usually used in a formative study when the researchers are not well aware about the situation and could be used before planning the BCC or the SBCC interventions and messages. So when it comes to evaluation, this could be used to get explanation of some puzzles that emerge from the quantitative evaluation. So here again is another example of an SBCC program that use key informant interviews. So uh, in the Rajasthan Health Department in India, it promotes male family planning through posters at highway eateries. So they use key informant interviews with owners, trackers that uh, and they will e- and they were able to discuss the messages while eating. So customers notice them while smoking, and there is an increased demand for condoms, indicating message understanding. So as you can see, there's an example on the answers of key informant interview uh, on the topic of male family planning. Next is the focus group discussion. So usually FGDs is useful for understanding cultural norms and perceptions within a group. So in this discussion, a moderator usually leads while another person takes notes. So it's more like, of course, a group discussion, and participants give detailed responses to a open-ended question. So of course, there are guidelines that established or prepared to keep discussions, focused. And it is suggested to conduct at least two focus group for each subgroup. So within the main group, there's two subgroup within the main. So FGDs are effective for gathering diverse views quickly, but may not be, suitable for a certain sensitive topics. So there are key characteristics of FGDs. So first, it is typically has 6 to 10 people uh, participants, and participants share similar backgrounds or characteristics like age, occupation, but they usually don't know each other well. And of course, there are two researchers usually lead the discussion, which lasts about 1.5 to 2 hours. And instead of finding solutions or making decisions, FGDs aim to gather qualitative insights on a topic. So they're all about understanding people's attitude, beliefs, and feelings. And of course, questions are open ended, meaning they are designed to encourage discussion and sharing. So, in summary, qualitative research is first a scientific research that aims to gather an in depth understanding of the how and why of human behavior. Second, it complements and explains quantitative findings. And third, it can be done independently as a formative study or to assess quality of an activity implemented. So that ends my report on the use of qualitative methods in monitoring and evaluation for social and behavior change communication program. Thank you, everyone.